Hello and welcome to the Import-Export Hub channel. Your not so boring host Bogdan here with another video about what products to import from where. And this time, as the title suggested, I will cover 5 products that are worth considering import from Vietnam and for which I really think that Vietnam has a strong competitive advantage. By the way, also, I almost forgot, try to hit the like and the subscribe buttons if you find this video at least slightly interesting. And guys, without further ado, let's start with my first product recommendation, which is coming from chapter 9403, so furniture and parts thereof, excluding of course those for medical, dental or veterinary use. And we see that overall in 2020 the exports were up almost 26% compared with the 2019 figures, bringing the absolute exported value to almost $7 billion, with the United States, Japan, and the United Kingdom representing the top 3 trading partners. But there are others in this top 10 list, like, I don't know, Canada, Germany, or the Netherlands, just to name a few. The overall export trend has an upwards trajectory from 2016 onwards, and we see that the total exports in 2020 from this chapter were almost 80% up compared with the figures from 2016. So quite an impressive progress considering the volatility of this sector. All this thanks to the strong export performance towards the United States, Japan, and South Korea, but mostly towards the United States, as we can see in the 2019 and 2020 figures. In terms of year-on-year changes, the inherent volatile nature of this sector is seen in the overall relative value, who was up, as I've said it earlier, with almost 26%. But this doesn't mean that there weren't contractions also in terms of exports, as we have a very big decrease both in absolute and relative values in relation with the United Kingdom, which frankly I think that it will start to become a less important export partner in the years to come for Vietnam. Other big contractions were also in relation with France, China, and the Netherlands, who imported with 14, 22, and 6% less respectively than in 2019. But fortunately for Vietnam's manufacturers and exporters, these don't weigh that much in the overall Vietnam's exports. As for the main drivers here, both for the United States and France, we have HS code 940360, who drive most of Vietnam's exports towards these countries. And guys, with this being said, I'll move on to my second recommendation, which is cashew nuts shelled. So HS code 080132, and I couldn't have missed the opportunity to recommend this product, as Vietnam is by far the largest exporter of cashew nuts in the world. And just for your information, and I don't know, to put things a little bit into perspective, in order to ship the total quantity of cashew nuts exported by Vietnam in 2020, you will need around 20,000 20-feet containers, which for me is absolutely mind-blowing. And just for your reference, the second biggest exporter of cashew nuts in the world, which is India, by the way, will need only 3,000 20-feet containers to ship all of its cashew exports. But anyways, overall the exports in 2020 shrunk with more or less 3% compared with the exports of 2019, bringing the total exported value to $2.8 billion, with the United States, the Netherlands, and China the biggest trading partners. But there are others like, I don't know, Australia, Germany, Turkey, or France, again, just to name a few from these top 10 trading partners. In terms of year-on-year changes, as I've said, the overall exports were down 3%, with big contractions in relation with the United States. for which I think that the US importers are starting to import more and more cashew nuts from Brazil. But also with China, the third largest export market for Vietnam, there was a big contraction, almost 13%. There were also some positive changes in relation with the Netherlands, which is Vietnam's second biggest trading partner in terms of exports. Turkey, who imported with almost 35% more, and also France, who imported with more or less 9% more than in 2019. And I think that these last two countries, so Turkey and France, will start increasing their imports in the years to come. So frankly, if I were a Vietnamese exporter of cashew nuts, I would try to focus my attention on these two countries. Anyways, without anything else to add here, guys, I will move on to my third recommendation, which is candles, tapers, and the like. And here we see that 2020 was a really, really good year for the Vietnamese exporters dealing with this sort of product, as the exports were up almost 29%, bringing the absolute figure to almost $350 million, with again the United States the biggest trading partner, the United Kingdom and Japan on the third place in terms of export destinations. But again, there are other important ones like Canada, Spain, Italy, or Poland, again, just to name a few from this top 10 list. Now, relative to the year-on-year changes, except with Japan, Germany, and Spain, whose imports from Vietnam fell with 3, 36, and 25% respectively. With the rest of the top 10 trading partners, the exports were up, especially those towards the United States, who also, fortunately for Vietnam, weighed a lot in Vietnam's exports from this category. And okay, we see here almost a six-fold increase with Italy, but in absolute terms, the figure is not that important if you ask me. And guys, before moving on to my next product recommendation, I would like to make some kind of prediction, if you want, regarding the future export potential for this product, as I have a feeling that some production capacity from China was deployed in Vietnam and that the Chinese manufacturers will continue to do so in the years to come, as this activity is highly energy intensive. And as you know it, right now China is taking some strict measures in terms of energy uses that will affect the manufacturing sector, and this kind of activity will be heavily hit. So what I'm trying to say is that I suspect that some of the Chinese candle manufacturers and exporters to have moved some of the production capacity into Vietnam, and more importantly that this trend will continue until China somehow tries to find some sort of stability in terms of energy output and consumption. And that's why, in my opinion, we see the decline in the Chinese exports and quite a large increase in the exports of Vietnam from this category. Anyways, again, this is just my way of thinking. I might be wrong, of course, so please take my personal opinions purely as they are, so personal. Anyways, moving on to my fourth recommendation, which is floor coverings of plastics, so HS code 3918, and we see that the exports almost quadrupled in 2020 if we compared with the figures of 2019, with the United States, Japan, and Canada the biggest export destinations. Relative to the year-on-year changes, the United States had the biggest change, both in terms of absolute and relative values, accounting for almost 86% share in Vietnam's total exports from this category. Also, there were big relative increases in relation with Japan, the United Kingdom, or Spain, but in terms of absolute values, these are somehow dwarfed by those of the United States. As for the main drivers from this category, for Japan we have HS code 391890, and for South Africa here we have HS code 391810. So floor coverings for both of them, the only difference being that the covers towards South Africa are made of PVC, while those of for Japan are not. And guys, without anything else to add here, bear with me a little longer as I will finish with my fifth recommendation and the last one, which is spoons, forks, and etc. So HS code 8215, and we see that the exports contracted quite a lot in 2020, bringing the absolute values to almost $157 million, which is 19% less than the figures for 2019. In terms of the biggest trading partners, again, the United States is the biggest one with more than $56 million worth of imports, followed by Germany, and we have on the third place Canada with almost $14.5 million worth of imports from Vietnam. Relative to the year-on-year changes, except the exports towards Canada, the Russian Federation, South Korea, and Finland, who all imported more. With the rest of the top 10 trading partners, the exports somehow contracted, especially those towards the United States and Germany, who both weigh a lot in Vietnam's total exports from this category. And speaking of Germany, HS code 821599 is driving most of Vietnam's exports towards Germany, as well as towards South Korea. And guys, with this being said, these were my 5 products for which I think that Vietnam has a strong competitive advantage. Thank you all for watching. I really hope that you've enjoyed it. Don't forget to hit the like and the subscribe buttons, and as usual, until next time, keep your business safe. Thanks.